Today on One Day Leader, the candidates investigate why there is such a delay in the housing process.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Welcome to One Day Leader. My name is Tumi Mothotoane and we're coming to you live from our Henley Studios in Auckland Park, Johannesburg. We are finally at the semi-final. We have our top three and we anticipate who will actually be in our top two. But our topic for today is access to housing. The constitution of this country simply states that everyone has a right to access a house in South Africa. And yet research states that though over 1 million houses have been built, government estimates that an additional 2 or 3 million units still need to be provided for. There are people who have been applying for a house since 1996 but have not yet accessed a house. They blame corruption for pushing them down the list. And to qualify for a house, you first need to be a South African citizen, be over 21 years of age and earn an income of less than 3.5 per month and never have owned a house or a property anywhere in South Africa before. But in reality, some people who are not meeting this criteria own houses. The housing crisis seems to be experienced not just by South Africans, but is also experienced by countries like India and Brazil, but with challenges like corruption. This escalates the problem. Now today, our contestants investigate why there are flaws in our system. Some say we've created a generation of dependent individuals as a country, while others claim that there isn't an alternative for those who actually don't qualify to get a loan from the bank. Well, we'd love to hear all your views on our topic. Please feel free to send us your comments on our Facebook page, which is One Day Leader SA, and our Twitter page, which is at One Day Leader SA, and do hashtag One Day Leader. Now, this is the second last episode of this season, which means by the end of this episode, we'd have only left with 2 individuals who'll make it to the top 2 of the season. Now, these 2 will come from the top 3 who are eager to give us their vision statements for this week. And we start, of course, this course with leader number 4, and his name is Jabulani B.
I believe in a land of equal opportunities. I believe in a land of innovation and courage to push what you believe in as the youth or a current citizen in South Africa. I believe in the characteristics of Ubuntu that connect the interconnectivity amongst us as South Africans and as Africans. I believe I am the leader to lead our current and future. I am the present. Igama lam uJabulani Sibiya, Sibiya ngenkomo. And through leadership, I salute you.
Thank you so much. Leader 4. Thank you so much, Jabulani. Now we're heading over now to our last remaining female contender. She is leader number 5 and her name is Samantha Beynon.
For the children, for the youth, for prospective and current graduates, for the unemployed, for the working class and poor, for women and single mothers, for the disabled, for the destitute, for the abandoned, for the orphaned and all those that have lost both parents already, like myself. As your leader, I believe in your unique potential. I believe that together we can do great things for this country, and not for me as an individual leader or the prospective winner of this competition, but for you as the majority of people. I wish power and economic prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sam. I have to say, I heard everything, but girl, we need to discuss that purple dress now. Hello. Okay, now we're heading over to leader number 6. Well, he's eager to share his vision statement. His name is Octavia Shabangu.
I remember when I was 8 years old and my mother bathed me. I said to her, "Mangikhulile mama, ngizokakhela indlu enkulu." She chuckled and hugged me and said, "Khula mntanami ufunde, ukuze uzokhomba umama indlela." It is at that very moment I learned that education would not only be the builder of my mother's house, but also the architect of my future. I am a leader of thought. My vision is that education is the root of success and the determining factor of our future. Education is power.
Thank you so much, Octavia. Well, there you have it, Nzansi. Those are remaining top 3 contestants who are vying for that top 2 spot. Now, I'm sure our candidates are just as nervous as I am to hear who makes it to the official top 2 of the One Day Leader Season 3. But first, let's have a look at how they, of course, look and how you have voted for them, as according to our scoreboard. Now, we begin, of course, this scoreboard with our viewers' vote. This is exactly how you have voted. We have Octavia Shabangu with 1 point. Samantha Beynon coming there with 2 points. And Jabulani Sibiya is actually leading with 3 points, according to our viewers. But now looking at the series scoreboard, the overall scoreboard that will actually determine our leaders' scores for this week. Wow, there is Jabu leading the pack with 15 points, and a very tight score that we have there between Octavia and Samantha with 13 points each. I actually am looking forward to see how that pans out at the end of this episode. Now, I want to remind you again to just please vote for your favorite leader on our One Day Leader SMS line, which is 34020. And in case you forgot, this is how you can vote.
To vote for your favorite leader, SMS Leader 4, Jabulani Sibiya. Leader 5, Samantha Beynon. And Leader 6, Octavia Shabangu.
Now, 12 weeks later, they've shared not just the visions that these young individuals have, but they've also shared themselves with us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our resident judges.
A writer, a public speaker and social activist, Shaka Sisulu is a founding member of Cheese Kids, a board member of Love Life, and serves on the interim leadership task team of the ANC Youth League. Catherine Constantinides is the Youth Network Generation Earth co-founder, executive director of Miss Earth SA and lead SA executive.
Welcome to our judges. But our guest judge for this week is Mr. Tumi Mothotoane, the spokesperson for the Gauteng Department of Human Settlements and Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. He worked as a lecturer in journalism, and he also worked at Standard Bank as the head of student banking right here in Gauteng. He's a graduate in journalism from the University of Rhodes. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Mothotoane. A round of applause for our guest judge. We actually had this conversation before the show, and you were like, Ntsoaki, I get this question all the time. But you have to answer it for the next 4 years, I suppose. In 2014, 20 years after our democracy, people are still crying about access to housing. Why is this a problem?
In Gauteng, we face the largest challenge when it comes to housing as compared to other provinces. I'll say, for an example, as a province, we account for less than 2% of the land mass in South Africa, but we take the largest number of applications for houses. And just to give an example, that we have a backlog of about 800,000 houses that we still have to build for people that live in Gauteng. And the main reason for that is basically a rapid, urbanization and in-migration of people coming to Gauteng to look for economic opportunities. And unfortunately, we cannot be able to keep up with the demand as it stands. But we're trying to push as much as we can. Since 1994, in Gauteng alone, we've created more than 1 million human settlements opportunities, be it housing, be it units, and even service stands. And going forward, we are going to go for densification. People of Gauteng, they've been afraid to say that, you don't want, these high-rise buildings. But unfortunately, we have a problem with access to land, and we must maximize the kind of land that we have to build as many houses as possible.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mothotoane, for that response. A round of applause, please. All right. Now, this week, our contestants and the 3 eliminated individuals met with Meana Lebinya from Germiston, who has been applying for a house since 1997. Well, they found out why there's been a delay in the process. Let's have a look at what they found out.
The candidates will be working with leader number 1, 2 and 3 to get the facts around the housing issues.
There exists a serious housing problem in South Africa. The reasons are historical, economical, and perhaps a failure of policy implementation or an inability to meet the exponential growing need. You are to embark on a fact-finding mission regarding access to housing. Your findings should reflect views of various affected bodies as well as your case study, Mama Anna from Germiston. Your task leader is Matasha Mazomba.
Hey, Tashi!
Okay, so guys, let's head to Germiston to meet Umam Anna and hear what she has to say about, you know, the housing issue and how she's experiencing it and all of that. We need to get community views about the issue as well.
Let's go.
Hi.
Housing is a very big issue in South Africa. And the harsh realities is that a lot of people do apply for an RDP house very early and only get it 17 to 20 years later, earliest. So it's a harsh reality in our society, and it's something that isn't given a lot of attention or isn't gone into very deeply. And hopefully we get to investigate and see these reasons and find out exactly why it takes that long.
The candidates went to pick up Siphosenkosi on their way to Meana.
Usipho has got a lot more information regarding indaba ye housing yakwelcala than we do, so he's going to prove to be quite a valuable resource to us within this task.
Tshwanelo and Siphosenkosi had a look at some of the paperwork from Meana to evaluate some of the process she's gone through over the years.
I started in 97. Sure. I applied in 30 something. What you like that 60? So it's 60. You want to go to Hamby, you would have look. Let me know how give me like a hint like you clothes. How can you get them? I'll be so like a Hali. Get a high Hajwang. And a banana who never had a mat. I never played them around another mat. When I play in to learn. Una usalamu holu una bat kata schooling apply in kala school kiti school kala kata 9
Senal bukai
na 25
sure ke kha
akuse thole hona tjinana.
So ha bua le bona ba thotseng mantlo ba reng ha hore bona ba thotse mantlo wa bona jwang
ai ba bona ba thotsang le ka Tshwanelo ba thotse
so le kae mo kone
re drink ka thumbane e mengwe moshimane ha dule nna ba ngwananyana le na moholo ha dule nna ke dula le na ngwananyana le bana le ba babedi.
So ntho ya o sa be le ntlo e o sokodisa jwang
hai ba buhlungu hai a be ke ipotsa hai be nna ke rapele batho ke ipotsa be nna ke rapele thapelo tsa ka e be di ka fa mdimi ya tswana o di ke ipotsa na ha jwang
Jaka o dula mona o rentile kapa motho na go tsagana
mina ke renta since 97 ke renta.
Ukuza kwethu lana namhlanje it brings a whole new meaning to the freedom and the life that we live in South Africa. As you can see, Umamu Anna has been applying for a very long time, and nalana hlala khona indawo yakhona incane. You can barely even bring visitors and guests like that. Yet we claim to be living in the same country and everyone is free. But we're not all entirely free. We do not all enjoy the benefits that we're all supposed to. The system, njengoba asho ukuthi khona abantu abazemva kwakhe already bathole izindlu.
The candidates decided to go to Davidton, where there was a recent protest to find the reasons that the residents had to why they still don't have houses.
Ngokube ku strike apha abantu balapha be strike andithi bukhona wena, so unganicacisela nje babe kusenzeka ntoni ngalamini beku strike
ngalelanga waku strike la Davidton wo ngaphuma mina endlini siya komimuzi la kwakushonwe khona mase siphuma lapho sathola ukuthi iDavidton iyavutha kusahambeni
yo bachisa amataya
ushiswa amathayi kuvalwe imigwaqo kubekwa amatshe amakhulu kuvinjwa nje kwasahani ukuthi ingaphindi ihambe kuyatoyitoya kuyiwale
xa usiva ke ngokwena tata bathi abantu balapha eDavidton babeyenzela ntoni lanto
babefuna ukuthi ukhansela abanikeze le ndawo abathembise yona
abantu abebe aba-allocate abantu basebenzise ubutsotsi bathathe abantu abasuka le ngaphandle babafaka ezindaweni ngemali of which thina siqualifyayo asabinayo indawo yokuhlala.
Bakhona basazitholile izindlu
ayikho indlu khona
akunamuntu osathola indlu
yebo namanzi kuthule nje
namanzi nama flush toilets
asinama toilet aflush nakho amile nje sikhamanzi ezitradini nawo ayaphela lamanzi kwesisikhathi
ukhansela wa before yeah usenzele ubutsotsi obuningi nalona ngokhansela kunzima kumfumana asikakaze simbone since imbeke ngoNovember.
Izize RDP kwathiwa izophuma bangenile abambe babhadada abanye bahamba abanye bayale kogoga abanye ngabantu bale Mzansi kodwa akusiba abantu bale Mzansi bonke abantu abaningi la vele ngabale.
I do not think that anyone deserves to live in a place like that. So it just shows ukuthi there are still people who do not enjoy the freedom that we think everyone enjoys, and there's a lot to be done to correcting the system.
Abantu bayakhalaza into yokubana bona ba-aplayile and bona instead of babafumane iindawo zifunyanwa ngabantu abanemali yoba bakwazi ukubhatala loo mntu bambhatalayo for uba bafumane indawo.
Wow. And are the candidates able to help Meana and her problem? Well, we find out after the break. Welcome back to One Day Leader, where our topic for this week is access to housing. The candidates visited Meana, as you've seen before, who has been applying for a house since 1997 and is still waiting for her to have her turn on the list. Now let's have a look at what they were able to do with her problem. The candidates decided to take Meana to the offices of the Department of Human Settlement, where they wanted to find the answers. Our cameras were not allowed inside.
We took Mom Anna to Sibongile at the municipality, where she gave us problems in actually identifying which municipality she actually belongs to and which municipality can best describe in terms of the problem she's facing with RDP application, as well as the information to why she hasn't received an RDP house and people around her have received an RDP house.
Uzodwa assisted to a particular point in terms of information, and I think that's part of the problem in terms of housing in this country, is that either the department is not giving information to people, and there are kind of side roads to one obtaining a house, or the people themselves are not accessing the information, they're not being proactive. So I think she assisted in terms of information, but I think as someone from the department, she used bureaucracy to kind of avoid coming onto the camera and informing the public, then just sit with the two of us and kind of creep behind what is possibly really going on in terms of the distribution of RDP houses.
So ufika kwethu civic center Germiston, siye safika sathetha nosisi okuthiwa nguSis Gertrude, sazama udibanisa i-meeting with umeya naye, so wathi basokwazi udibana nomeya. Ngelakhi yethu siye sadibana nomnye umfana xa siphume ekuthiwa nguSipho. uSipho wasinceda ubana makaphinda athethe noSis Gertrude azama umcacisela exactly what it is and why we want to see the mayor, why we want to have a meeting with the mayor. Fortunately uSis Gertrude uye wasifonela back wathi ze simfonele ngomso yenzela uba sizama uschedulisha ixesha le meeting nemeya, so we are hopeful that we will be able to schedule a meeting with the mayor sometime next week.
Mama, sesibuyile ekhaya ne mama. Sibongile ukuthi nesikhathi sakho namhlanje. Siyathemba ukuthi manje kuyaphambile. Sozama ukuthi vele sibuyele la sibuye khona, sibone ukuthi indlela ukuyaphambili ihamba kanjani. And then khona manje uSipho noNatasha basayile ko mayor's office ne. Bayakhuluma nabo sibone ukuthi sokhona ukuyenzana. Awuna next singayithembisa manje ne mama. Mara into singayithembisa ukuthi sizozama.
Ngiyalibuka bontate bausi. Dikgathatso ba lona. La mpontsha lerato hore na motho o ratuwa ha jwang, ke a leboha. Empa ke na le tshepo ya hore ha baneneng Modimo o tla etsa kganya, o tla kgantsha Modimo ke thole.
Into eyenzekayo, we sit in a situation apho sixelelwa khona e-Department of Housing into yokubana kukho i-backlog yango-95, 96, 97. Kungoku nangoku ngo-2014 kuqala uncedwa abantu bango-95, 96, 97, and within elo ncedo elo balifumanayo kwasalona, it's flawed because of izinto ezifana ne-corruption, because of izinto ezifana nabantu abangafuni umamela, abangafuni unceda abantu. So i-policy yona, yes, it's there, but implementation, not too great.
A lot of information right there about the process. I can't wait to hear what the judges actually have planned to ask our contestants after watching this. Well, don't forget to vote for your favorite candidate to make it to the official top 2 at the end of this episode. Our voting number is 34020. Well, stay tuned for more. We'll be back straight after this. Welcome back to One Day Leader. Today we're having a look at what ordinary South Africans have to go through when they are looking for a house in South Africa. We've traveled the road with Mayor Nalibinya to find some answers about why there's been a delay in her getting a house. But right now, though, we're about to hand over to our judges just to ask a few questions to our contestants. Catherine?
Sam, my question is for you. Over the past 12 weeks, we have seen you as young leaders grow. We've seen you learn lessons along each of the activities you've had to do. I'd like to ask you, if you had to look back and reflect on this specific task, what would you do differently?
Thank you for the question. I think that for me personally, I can only speak for myself. I would have loved to have engaged more members from the community of Mam Anna specifically, because in her context and the task, as much as it's centered around housing, it was actually centered around trying to assist her directly. If you go to a community, one sees that everyone around her has received an RDP house except for her. She is now renting a shack from a foreigner who has an RDP house. So I think I would have wanted to almost interrogate what happened in that community specifically to get to the core issue of her case directly. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Sam? Ntsame?
Hi, mine is for Octavia. Leadership is about persistence and going the extra mile, making sure that you stop at nothing to make sure that you achieve what you want to achieve. With this project, I can see that you guys went to the mayor's office, but that was it. Did you at any point consider, escalating the matter or even taking it, to other offices outside of the mayor's office?
Thank you for the question, sir. So in terms of our persistence in going to it, I think that we found out that the biggest issue for us was land. And yes, we couldn't go to the mayor, but we tried to engage private stakeholders and tried to retrieve that kind of land. And I've been in talks with the producers outside the show. We're trying to engage her daughter, and we're trying to get her a form of education for something sustainable, as opposed to just looking to solve the housing issue itself. So we're trying to look at treating the cause, not just the effect.
Thank you so much, Octavia, for that answer. Shaka?
Sam and Jabu, I'm amazed you guys look so wonderful. You were looking so casual when you were going to see those officials. Do you only get these outfits when it's showtime? That's not really my question. If you were sitting in our seats and you could have, I suppose, the Minister of Housing, the MEC of Housing, standing there, what would you be asking them now?
If I had the Minister of Housing and asking her now, I would ask specifically why those members in their community received RDP houses when she hasn't, and why there's people who applied after she did and have those specific houses. I think that's the main question that I'll ask. When we engaged with people from the Department of Human Settlements in Alberton, and we asked these questions, the lady wasn't specific on her answer. So if there was a higher authority like the Minister of Housing, I would like to find out why those members in her community received RDP housing and she didn't.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, candidates. Thank you so much, judges, for those questions. And now it's time for the debate. For this week, our topic is, should people born after 1990 still be getting free houses after 20 years of democracy? But before we start, here are the rules of our debate.
Every leader has a set of instructions and disciplines to live by. These are the rules for the One Day Leader debates. You have 30 seconds to state your vision statement, 60 seconds for the opponent to challenge, and 30 seconds to conclude your debate.
Well, there you go. Our very first debate is between Samantha and Octavia. We'll start this one with Samantha. Leader 5, your 30 seconds to give us your vision statement begins now.
Thank you so much. I think that it is part of government's mandate to provide these houses because of our rights enshrined in our constitution. But in terms of implementation, I believe we need to involve the people from the planning process. So from the inception of a housing development project within their community, we need to have a people-centered approach. This allows for consultation, information access, as well as people to build the houses themselves and generate income at the same time.
Thank you so much, Leader 5. Leader 6, this is your chance now to chip in 60 seconds. Challenge, begin now.
Okay, so you were talking about involving the people in the building process. The problem with that, Sam, is people lack the skills to actually do quality jobs. We've seen this in the past where houses have been built by companies and then they have to subsidize the renovating and fixing of those houses.
Thank you so much,
hold on,
Octavia. I think
one more
I've captured your point because it is my time. What I'm saying is that involve people from the planning process. What that covers in the planning process is, are you going to engage yourself in mixed development programs such as low to middle income subsidies?
No, but I don't understand. No,
So
but how important is it involving them in the plan? If I'm involved in the plan, is a house going to miraculously come up?
What I'm saying is
No.
people who
What
are
you're saying
skilled
doesn't
and
make sense.
qualified.
No, I'm not qualified if I stay in a shack.
There are graduates who require hours of training who are skilled and qualified.
They require money. That's what they require, not just training.
And that's what we're
What we
saying
need
is
to do
generating
is move away from people
building
and
the
start looking at the
house.
solutions.
Octavia, what we're saying is
there's 12
instead of
million
having
people
a
that need
top-down
houses.
approach, we are having the
There's 12
integration
million
of
people that
top-down
need
and
houses,
bottom-up.
and there's only
So
5
instead of
to
a
600,000.
Thank you so much, leaders. Now, Sam, you may wrap up in 30 seconds.
I'm so glad I can speak. Thank you so much. What I'm saying is let's have an integration between a top-down and bottom-up approach. This means you involve government, yes, to provide houses, but you empower people to be part of the process already from planning. Where do they want their houses built? How are they going to build them? Are they going to build them themselves? And yes, we are able to enable them to have the skills to build the houses, be active citizens and not dependent on government. So we want an integrated approach to solve the overall housing issue in South Africa. Involve government, involve the people. We can do it together.
Thank you so much, Leader 5. All right, Octavia, this is now your opportunity to state your vision statement in 30 seconds. Begin now.
Should people be given housing after 1990? My answer is yes, because denying them an opportunity at housing is a contravention of their constitutional right to shelter. Furthermore, social ills don't have a deadline, therefore we cannot cut them off. We need to stop looking at housing as just a process of allocating property to those that need it, but we need to leverage housing to give those same people skills and use their situation as job creation and to produce high quality and long life houses. Let's not build houses, let's build the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leader 6. All right, Leader 5. Now this is your opportunity to chirp in and challenge in 60 seconds.
Octavia, in my debate, I spoke about the link
No,
of
this is my debate.
generating
Tell
an
me
income.
to ask me a question.
Okay, exactly. If you need to listen, that is part of discipline in being a leader.
Okay, so one of the main interlinked
how
social
are you
issues
going to
is
integrate
uneducation
people into
and
the
poverty.
economy?
I believe
How,
that
in terms of building
the first way
houses?
to build the
You
future
aren't
is
listening,
we
so
need to
therefore you
utilize.
can't
No,
answer
you're not
my
asking me
question.
anything.
What
So
I'm
we need to
asking you
train
is
and utilize
how
the
do we
people that
do
need
what
to
you
use
are
the
saying we
houses.
are going
They
to
can be
do
90%
when
of
they
the
haven't
workforce.
been part of the
Therefore, we can
planning
create jobs,
process.
and after the house is built, they will be employable, and then they will value the houses more because of their personal experience. The main issue here
How
is educational
not
issues.
Aware? They haven't been
Okay,
informed.
here-
They haven't
they
been
are-
consulted.
they are informed. They need to be
How?
involved.
In the case
So
of
if we have one
why was she
expert
not informed
consulting
of
everyone,
the project
and another
of
issue is
development?
land. If
Why
we
do
look over
people
here,
speak
right,
about corruption?
this is a scale, right? So this is how RDP houses are built. But what if we used international scaling where they scale their
Which means
houses for
people need to
up
be
here?
involved in the planning
Exactly.
process
And
prior
then they
to
learn in the
implementation,
planning
which they
process on
aren't
how to
right
build
now.
this. We can create jobs and
Thank
we
you
can
so
make
much,
them
leaders.
employable.
All right, Octavia, now you may take us through the architecture in just 30 seconds.
So if you look at it like this, this is 8 RDP houses. They can also cover, this covers less than that. This is built to scale, by the way, and can actually support more than 1,000 families, right? So they will be more employable because they were involved in the building. They're not experts, but they can work under experts. Therefore, I'm saying we can create not just people for houses, but the future. Thank you.
There's nothing easy about the semi-final. We want our top 2, and clearly both Leader 5 and Leader 6 want it so bad. But the judges have to now deliberate and tell us who took this round. Judges?
All right, thank you guys very much. I think you guys both came to the same point. Yes, they have a right to free housing. I don't necessarily agree that it's set in the Constitution. You've both said involve people, you're saying training people. You guys are agreeing, except you're coming with wonderful theatrics, you're bringing out houses, scale. Octavia has done it again.
Octavia takes the round. Congratulations, Leader 6. Congratulations. This is just one step to getting to where you want to be. But of course, we'll have to wait for our viewers to also vote at home and to also deliberate who their winner is. Well, after the break, Jabu will give us his vision statement and give us his opponent. Stay tuned. You're watching One Day Leader Season 3 and I'm your host, Tumi Mothotoane, and we're coming to you live from our SABC Henley studios in Auckland Park, Johannesburg. Our topic for today is access to housing. But before we continue, let's have a look at some of your comments on social media. I know everyone is just going crazy about how, our episode is panning out. Well, we had a topic, a comment here from one of our social media friends. Let me just get to it. And they saying, everybody needs a house, whether you are born in 1990 or before. Everybody has a right to access to housing. All right, thank you so much for that comment, Mbali. And we have another one saying that, yes, you have access to housing, but what are you doing to ensure that you have a plan if the government doesn't help? So what are you doing as well, is what our people on social media are asking. And we have another one that says that young people should not develop a dependency syndrome and they need to make sure that they get educated and also apply for a loan. Well, those are some of those just comments on our social media, just people telling us how they feel. But now we have to continue with our debate. And now Jabu has to choose an opponent. Jabu, this is our top 3. We need to go to top 2. You need to choose very carefully. Who have you decided to be your opponent?
Leader 6, Octavia. Shabangu.
Leader 6, Octavia. All right. Jabu, your vision statement begins in 30 seconds. Begin now.
The Constitution of South Africa states that we all need to have adequate housing and we all have to have access to this. The RDP says that, the program says that it is not a time-based program, but rather a needs-based program. After interviewing Shaka Sisulu, he said a constructive solution is to rather communicate a multi-dimensional program with private and the public sector and to constant communicating and participation on the process of RDP houses. We need to communicate the criteria, number
Thank you
one.
so much, Leader 4. Leader 6, kindly challenged now in 60 seconds. Begin now.
Mr. Leader 4, I feel like your vision is enriched with like bombastic words and they only belong in Parliament. Essentially, you're not saying anything. You're not saying yes or no. But here's the thing. I've got 2 and then I'll
Let me tell
hit
you what I'm saying, because you said you don't know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we need to explain the criteria in order to achieve the houses. This is a practical solution. In order to say that we can get land and build a building that is
If we explain the criteria, does that mean the house will materialize? No, think about it.
The problem at hand is that land is not available to build houses. A practical solution is to communicate direction.
So if you tell me I can't have a house, is that going to make me happy?
You're not
I'm
equivalent of getting
communicating
an
with you
RDP
that
house.
you cannot have
If
a
you're
house
if you're under 21 years,
No,
you're not allowed to get a house.
Situation?
What I'm saying, a practical solution is we need to communicate the criteria.
Isn't going to build
Number
houses.
one, in order to achieve an RDP house,
is only
and
going
we
to
need
tell
to
us what we
have
can't
instant
do.
communication, because people like Mam Anna are losing hope. We need to say to her, listen, there is hope, and this is when you're going to receive your house. This is how you apply.
All right, Leader 4 now. You may
processes.
conclude your vision statement in 30 seconds.
What I'm saying now is that we need to communicate the criteria in order to achieve this. Mr. Shaka Sisulu, involved in the RDP houses, says that a practical solution, not to say that we can build these places, because there's already a program employed. The Greenfield program is instilling houses for communities in order to move forward. What I'm saying is we need to have constant communication in how we can give these criteria, and we need to tell them the tools in order to equip for an RDP house, as well as having that constant communication will give you hope and instill constant communication.
Thank you so much,
between the
Leader
government
4.
and themselves.
Thank you so much. Now, it's time for us to give Leader 6 a chance. Your vision statement in 30 seconds, please. Begin now.
Okay, housing should be given to people born in 1990 because they have a right to shelter. Furthermore, if social ills don't have a deadline, neither can we. My point of view is us in government need to look at housing as not just building a house, but a future. Let me explain. What I've learned on One Day Leader is that issues don't exist in isolation. Therefore, housing is a symptom and not the cause. We need to treat things like unemployment, we need to treat our economy, and we need to make people more educated about where they live. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leader 6. Leader 4, now you may chirp in 60 seconds. Begin now.
You speak about unemployment, and we must realize that unemployment itself away from housing is already a problem in South Africa, and we're deeming to tackle housing at first, number one. Number two, we're saying that in his illustration that he gave, he says that let me give you a question. In your illustration that you gave, Octavia, we said that we need to build a bigger building in order to assist for other people. Do you know that it's more expensive to build?
I do actually.
And what are the costs?
But you can halve it, because if you use the community to employ them, they will be learning skills
and you have to pay
having
the community.
But
you have to pay
also,
the community.
in order to tackle costs, we need to source material from local suppliers and support small businesses in order to promote economic growth and job creation in the economy.
Where's the land coming
if money is the issue, it can be solved through using the people in the community. Don't tell me about how much it costs to make a high-rising building. Tell me how much it costs to employ that person for them to be able to pay for their child's school fees when they get that house. That is not the issue. We need to create economic growth and job creation in our own economy. Stop looking at the house and start looking at creating the future.
Thank you so much, Leader 6. Now you may wrap up in 30 seconds.
Okay, as I was saying, we need to stop looking at housing as a process of allocating property when somebody needs it. We need to leverage housing for those same people to gain skills, to use it in job creation, to use it to stay sustainably in those houses. You can't just give me a house and then I can't support myself after you give me the house. I will just sell the house. So let's not just build houses, let's build the future. Thank you.
All right. Our judges are still deliberating, as you can see, but I just want to remind you that you can also be the judge at home. You don't have to leave the scores where they are. You can contribute. Vote for your favorite leader by SMSing leader and their number to 34020, and of course contribute towards getting our leaders to the final top 2. Judges, we need a name. Mr. Mutsamai, do you have a leader for us?
Yeah. You know, guys, it's a very compelling arguments that are coming forward. But one of the most important things that we need to have right now is those quick wins. You know, what can we do now? Surely the house cannot be built tomorrow or maybe the day after tomorrow, but we need simple solutions for now. And part of that is to bring people into our confidence, to explain to them how this is done. So I think, you know, Jabu's got the best...
Jabu wins debate 2. Congratulations, Leader 4. Congratulations. Thank you so much, judges, for that deliberation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please vote for your favorite candidate one more time. I can't stress this. It's a semi-final. We're feeling the heat. Please vote for your favorite leader. Send the word leader and their number to 34020 so they can also make it to the top 2. And here's what one of these candidates stands a chance to win should they be crowned One Day Leader Season 3.
For the next 13 weeks, our 6 candidates battle to become One Day Leader for Season 3. One of them will shadow the NYDA chairperson on his local and continental trips, get 300,000 rands in cash and 150,000 rands for charity of their choice. And a 5-day trip to New York City to attend the annual JCI Global Partnership Summit, sponsored by the JCI South Africa.
All right, last week we launched the One Day Leader book. Today we have a candidate from one of the past seasons to talk to us about his chapter in the book. And then we announce the top 2 candidates who make it to the final of One Day Leader Season 3. All this and more only after the break. Welcome back to One Day Leader, and thank you so much for joining us once again. Now, our topic for today, in case you forgot, is access to housing. Today, we've invited Sandangama from Season 2 of One Day Leader as a guest to talk more about his chapter in the One Day Leader book called Reflections on South Africa. Now, Sanda's chapter talks about poverty, and he makes a very powerful statement that poverty is a choice. Well, Sanda, welcome to One Day Leader Season 3.
Hi. Hi, Tumi. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
I see you and Octavia have one thing in common. Mummies are big here on One Day Leader.
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining us. You made a very powerful statement in your chapter. You said poverty is a choice.
Yes.
Why did you say that?
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me. But unlike any other story in this book, it is mainly based and inspired by real life stories stories of exactly Octavia Shabangu's mother. On episode 2, he said that his mother sacrificed herself, her dignity and everything, and volunteered to clean a school in order for his education system. Stories like Samantha Beynon, who come from a very small town in outside Grahamstown, being amongst 3 people or 4 people to make it into varsity, whereas other youths are busy with alcohol and every other things. So from the executive producer, the contestants, the judges, and any other person sitting here, I want to believe that you were once in a crossroad where you had to make that one choice defining your future and life. So the divides of light and darkness in your life lie within the choices you make. You may be born into poverty, but it's your choice to die in it. It may not be your fault that you are at the point where you are in life, but it becomes your problem. So choice, success, you choose.
Wow. Wow. And with that said, do you have perhaps a brief question to one of our contestants?
Yeah, just one question for Octavia. One of the problems that we have in South Africa with leadership is disrespect and misbehaving of our leaders. We all know about the middle finger incident in Parliament. So I want to know to you, Octavia, during debates, how are you showing respect and, how are you showing that common courtesy and how do you well behave with regards to your opponents when you are engaging with them?
Thank you, Sanda.
That's a great question. I found that throughout the season, my opponents they'll use my time, my rebuttal time. And the thing is, when I came off in the beginning of the season, I was very shy and I didn't want to outspeak them and I allowed them to use my time. And I felt that was disrespect in itself. So instead of trying to stop them and waste time, it's best I give my vision and get it across. And then they'll hear it while they're talking. And it's not a matter of disrespect, they'll hear me because I'm loud enough. So I respect them enough to understand that they can hear me.
All right. Thank you so much, Octavia, for that answer. Thank you so much, Sanda. And congratulations on a very powerful chapter. History been made with the leaders. Well done for being a part of it.
Thank you.
All righty then. Now let's move on. The moment that we've all been waiting for. It's time for us to actually find out who's going home and who's staying. But first, let's take a look at the final scoreboard for this week. All righty then. Now, Jabu is leading with 17 points. Octavia coming behind with 15 points. And our only female leader remaining on One Day Leader is behind with 13 points. So it means that according to our scoreboard, leader number 5, Samantha, is unfortunately going home. Judge Catherine?
And what I'd like to do is, Shaka used his save some weeks ago, and today I'm going to use my save, and I'm going to ask to keep Samantha in for the final round.
I'm in.
Wow. Wow. There you have it, South Africa. The only female remaining in the competition, Samantha, is safe. She is not going home. So it means, for the very first time in the history of One Day Leader, we have a 1 in 3 chance of crowning our One Day Leader Season 3. Congratulations, Samantha. Congratulations, all the leaders. A round of applause. Thank you so much for the preparations you've made each week. South Africa, we now have our top 3 candidates. Next week, we will be announcing the winner of Season 3 of One Day Leader. Keep voting for your favorite candidates. Thank you so much to our contestants. Thank you so much to our judges. Thank you so much to our audience members and to you at home for voting as well. But I leave you in the words of Jim Rohn. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. From myself, Tumi Mothotoane, I will see you at the final next week. Goodbye, Mzansi.